We are not to just go to whatever tickles our ears.
That's right.
It is not the job of the pastor or the preacher to make you happy.
That's right.
It is not the job of the pastor or the preacher to tell you what you want to hear. It is not the job of the pastor or the preacher to tell you you're wonderful. Although you are. That is not what the job is. The job is to direct you into living the life that Christ laid out for us. And sometimes that's an unpopular thing to do. There are lots of times on Wednesday nights with our teenagers that I'll tell them stuff they don't want to hear. And I sleep just fine at like this. There are lots of times on Sunday nights I've heard Mark Sexton say a lot of things that people don't want to hear. And I bet you he sleeps just fine at night doing it. Because when God gives it to you, it doesn't matter if it's popular. I'd rather be right than popular any day. How many times have you guys heard me say that? A lot. We are not to just go along with whatever the happy feeling and thought of the day is. It's very easy in 2014 for a minister to get famous and never say a word. To preach to a church of thousands and never say a word. And to never mention the name of Christ. And to never talk about the hard topics. Folks, that is what we're supposed to do. If you want to talk about doctrine, well, let's talk about it. Jesus is God and the Son of God at the same time. And no, that doesn't make sense and it's not supposed to. And He came to earth and He was God in people clothes. And He lived 33 years and He gave sermons like you won't believe. And He was tortured and beaten and killed on a cross. And He died, dead, for 3 days. And He kicked the doors of hell open so we don't have to go. And He came back to life 3 days later. And He worked 40 more days. And then He ascended into heaven where He's building a house for us to live forever.
Amen.
Amen. Anything else that you want to add to it is meaningless details. Okay? If you want to believe that when you die you go straight to heaven, super. If you believe that when you die you wait 3 days and you run a marathon and go to heaven, super. If you believe that when you die you sleep and Jesus comes back and gets you and you go to heaven, super. Just believe in Jesus.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
But when you believe in it, listen, you don't believe in it with just your words.
That's right. That's right.
There is a song that the Newsboys sing called We Believe. If you listen to Spirit FM, you've heard it. Because it's on all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's my favorite song that the Newsboys have ever recorded. I love it. And when they sang it last night, man, you could feel God's presence in that convocation center.
Amen.
Like, oh man, I couldn't breathe. I know you guys couldn't breathe if you were there, man. It was amazing. And it wasn't because the Newsboys were singing, because Michael Tate put the microphone down. It was because we were declaring a creed. And the creed is real simple. Let me just show you a t-shirt. If I'm smart enough to unfold it. It says we believe in God the Father, we believe in Jesus Christ, we believe in the Holy Spirit. He's given us new life. Now the song goes on to say, we believe in the crucifixion, we believe that He conquered death, we believe in the resurrection, and He's coming back again. That might get mixed up a little bit. I'm going really fast. Here's the thing. They are just words. Unless it's in here. Because that's a creed for your life. If you want to talk about doctrine, well, right here it is. If you want to talk about doctrine, right there it is. Now, once you get that, you're going to do something with it. We have a student at Tazewell High School who, every Friday morning, he comes to the door of the auditorium and he'll stand right here. He doesn't come in for devotions, but he'll stand outside. Let me step back so I don't fall. He'll talk to me before devotions, and he'll ask me what's going on at the church. And he bought some eggs, some of the peanut butter eggs, and ate them. And he, would come and do stuff. And I'll say, you come to devotions today? No, I'm not ready. All right, man. Hey, I love you, buddy. I'll see you next Friday. Okay? Well, I'm not saying I've got it all figured out, but I'm convinced that if Jesus was standing there, Jesus would talk to him. Jesus would acknowledge him. And Jesus would say, hey, man, we love you, man. Whether he ever shows up or not, doesn't matter. If I'm not doing that, I'm doing wrong. I can't say that I believe these things to be true if I'm sitting on my couch watching TV all the time. I can't say that I believe that the Bible is true if I'm not doing anything with it, because then obviously I don't believe it. If all you do is read the Bible and memorize verses, and look, those things are important to do. That's not what we need to be doing. We need to be living it. And living it is active. Living it is action.
Come on.
Going out to reach people, it's hard work. what Jesus did. Jesus spent a lot of time with a lot of people that, quite frankly, if they showed up at our church, some of us would snarl our noses. Jesus spent time with tax collectors, and we think, well, that's not a big deal. Listen, tax collectors in biblical days were crooks and criminals. They had to take this amount for the government, but they could take whatever they wanted from the people. And you couldn't do a thing to them. They were considered scum. And Jesus, had dinner at Zacchaeus' house. Matthew was one of the 12 disciples. He was a tax collector. Make no mistake. Jesus spent time with prostitutes. Now, can you imagine if we were witnessing to prostitutes and strippers? What would people say about us? Well, heaven forbid. Well, what should we be doing? Don't they need Jesus too?
Come on.
Amen.
Come on.
I guarantee you, I have no doubt in my mind that if Jesus walked this earth today, he'd spend a lot of time at the methadone clinic. He'd spend a lot of time on street corners with, drug addicts.
That's right, amen.
All but when they come here, keep an eye on them, let them steal them. Not here, in the church in general. If we believe what the Bible says and sound doctrine says, we should believe that. And we can't treat people that way. When somebody walks through the doors and they stink, I mean, they smell too high. You know what I'm talking about. We still need to love those people.
That's right, amen.
When I was teaching job readiness at Clinch Valley, I had a guy go through the job readiness class, and this guy, he had a body odor to it. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty rough for 5 days in that classroom. And by Friday, he kept talking about he just couldn't figure out why he couldn't find a job. He just didn't understand. And I took him to the side, just he and I said, well, I'm going to talk to you. It's not going to be easy for you to hear, but I'm going to talk to you about it. You've got to be clean. You've got to start bathing. You've got to start wearing deodorant. You need to wash these clothes every, when you wear them once. And he looked at me. He had never heard that before. He just hadn't been taught. Folks, sinners are no different than that.
Come on.
Sinners don't know that they stink. Sinners don't know that they're living in sin. And if we just judge them, we're no better. Understand that if we say, here's what we believe at this church, and I bet if I went around the room, everybody could tell me something different that this church believes. But if what we believe is that we want to live like Jesus lives in some kind of phrase, we're doing it wrong. Jesus lived what he believed.
That's right, amen.
It wasn't just printed on a document or on a t-shirt. He didn't wear a what would I do bracelet in Jesus' days. Jesus didn't do all that. Jesus lived what he believed. Jesus lived it for all the years he did ministry. So let me ask you a few questions. What are the things that you believe in your heart? What do you believe? What is the number one priority to you? Now, again, I have a rare opportunity because I get to work with young people. Some people call it an opportunity. I'm one of those people. And they'll say, well, we talk a lot about relationships because, those hormones are going crazy and we talk about boyfriends and girlfriends quite a bit. And you can ask them what I tell them, what has to be the most important relationship, and they'll tell you, it has to be Jesus. Then when they don't know me very well, they'll say, well, it has to be Christina. And I'll say, no, Christina has to come number 2. And vice versa. Because Christ has to come first. If that's not the most important priority in our lives, we obviously don't believe what the Bible says. You can't just say it. Anybody can say what they believe. It's another thing to live it. And I'm talking about living it wide open. If something happens today, and we drive off of this hill, and I drop dead today, I want there to be no doubt. If people talk about me, and I would hope that they would say, man, that guy loved Jesus.
That's right, amen.
I would hope before they say anything else, that guy loved Jesus. If that's not the priority for you, then it's time to make that the priority for you. If the priority for you is not loving Jesus and loving Jesus' stuff, which is his people, which is everybody, we're not doing something wrong. We cannot keep holding on to these traditions at the expense of what's real. And what's real is God's Word and God's doctrine that he gave us. Okay, look, the Bible is just a book. It's just a book. It's just a bunch of words until you realize that God allowed people to put it on paper. God made that a holy thing. Okay? God did that. But if we believe it, then it's time to start living it. So I just want to mention quickly that if you're sitting there and Jesus has not been the priority for you, please don't go home and be miserable about it. Feel free, this altar stays open. You got people here that can pray with you. If you just need some time to pray, we'll do it. If you're sitting there and you said, man, Jesus has been the priority, but I put him on the back burner for my career. I put him on the back burner for my family, which, look, you can't do that. I put him on the back burner for money. I put Jesus on the back burner for my hobbies. It's got to stop. I don't know a pretty way to say it. It's got to stop. If you're sitting there and you say, I just want to know Jesus more and more because I want to believe that. You know, there's a prayer in the Bible. Lord, help me. Help I believe, help my unbelief.
Yeah.
Okay? It's okay to ask God to make you believe more because it can happen. But here's the thing. God's a gentleman. He's not going to go to your seat and pick you up and throw you up here. You got to be willing to go. You got to be willing to do it. I was one of these guys, man, I kind of thought I had it all figured out for a long time. I'm not going to lie. I kind of thought I had it figured out for a long time. I didn't think Mark Miller installed it. And that obviously was wrong. After I've had the health problems that I've had, you guys know that, at a lowest point, God started showing me and opening up His Word to me. And when it's time for a sermon to be preached, God's like, let's do this. Okay? I didn't have a clue. I'm ashamed to say that I've been in ministry a long time and I just wasn't doing right. But I believe with my whole heart in Jesus Christ, God's Son. And He died for my sins so I don't have to. And guess what? He's coming back to pick me up and take me home.
That's right.
Amen.
And it is not enough for me to not share that with people. And it is not enough for me to just hold that tight and not let people in on it.
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake. Let's pray together. Father God, Lord,